Midnight is actually a couple of things. It's a portfolio of about 20 years of work, both in the visual art as well as the written fields. There's a lot of published work in here, a lot of things that had already been accomplished. You know what I mean? So in one respect, I wanted it to serve as this coffee table book, you know? But also, if we're talking about the actual content itself, the poems are, as all of my poems are, kind of me interrogating the self, you know? It's always me looking at my experiences, looking at my engagements and interactions with people, looking at my opinions about things and really trying to take those things apart. I like to talk a lot about the Black interiority, right? Which is like the internal landscape of a person, right? And I think there's always this performative thing that's supposed to be happening, especially if you're Black or brown in the world. You know, you're always performing for somebody. You know what I'm saying? You can't just be in your skin and just be upset, or be in your skin and just, right? My poems always open up the landscape of the emotional world as well as the internal landscape of a person, right? Mostly myself. Because the only expert that I can be on anybody is me. You know what I mean? I can't be an expert on anybody else but myself. So a lot of it has to do with me like kind of taking things apart, taking apart ideas of white supremacy, taking apart ideas of the patriarchy, taking apart the parts of me that are not in alignment with my highest and greatest good sometimes, you know? I'll read something from Too Much Midnight. Came out in April of 2020, right as we entered into quarantine. So I'm gonna read Someone in My Family. Someone in my family tree was plucked, pocketed, and bitten core clean. Seeded, sent off, far out. Strange land stranger cracked between two tongues to untangle, thrust among albino alien, bent down tobacco terrain, branded, named, crossbred, mapless, hapless. Here I am, some poor sap's genetic switch, which hopped 100 generations inside black body spaceships. Crash Lando, Calrissian, traitor, survivor of Hun and Hut, extraterrestrial mutt, saber, gold tooth, or an ire, equipped, Jedi mind, trick. I came to Chicago on a whim. I was living in Dayton, Ohio, where I grew up, and at the time I had a Toyota Corolla, you know. So anything I couldn't fit in that car didn't come with me. So I did bring a few art pieces. I definitely brought my supplies, I think. I mean, there were some specific things that I brought with me, but for the most part, I was just like, get rid of it all and just start fresh. That was 19 years ago. My parents were like, have you lost your mind? My parents were like, have you lost your mind? Like, what are you doing? Like, why are you moving to Chicago? Because, you know, my family, they're rooted people. You know what I mean? They're from Ohio. They don't never really leave where they're from. And so they were like, everything we have is right. Everything you need is right. You know what I mean? And I was like, but I want to be an artist and a writer. And I could do that here, but I can do it at a higher frequency if I leave here, you know? And they couldn't understand any of those things that I was talking about. You know what I mean? But it didn't change the fact that I loved them and that I wanted to be in community with them when I could in the ways that they would allow me to be, but it wasn't going to be fully and wholly fulfilling for me.